What does it mean to be a nation without a state? To have an identity born not from political borders, but from struggle, exile, and memory? Welcome to the introduction, and in this episode, we delve deep into the story of Palestine, its people, its history, and its 75-year-long fight for a homeland. The roots of the Palestinian identity stretch back centuries, but it was the events of the 20th century that crystallized their national consciousness. After World War I, the British took control of Palestine under a League of Nations mandate. In 1917, the Balfour Declaration committed Britain to supporting a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, which was already home to an Arab majority. Jewish immigration grew rapidly during the 1930s and 40s, especially as Jews fled Nazi persecution. Tensions between the Jewish and Arab communities escalated, erupting in violent uprisings. When the United Nations proposed a partition plan in 1947 to divide the land into separate Jewish and Arab states,
a war broke out.
On May 14, 1948, the State of Israel was declared. The very next day, neighboring Arab nations invaded. But Israel prevailed in the process. Over 750,000 Palestinians were expelled or fled from their homes. This event, known as the Nakba, or catastrophe, marks the beginning of Palestinian statelessness. Their villages were destroyed, their properties seized, and their homeland turned into someone else's promised land. For the next 2 decades, Palestinian refugees lived in camps across Lebanon, Jordan, Syria, and Gaza. In 1964, the Palestine Liberation Organization was formed to represent their cause. Led later by Yasser Arafat, the PLO sought to reclaim Palestine through armed struggle. In 1967, after the Six-Day War, Israel occupied the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem territories Palestinians hoped would be their future state. Under occupation, Palestinian resistance took a new form. The First Intifada in 1987 was a spontaneous uprising of stones. Protests and boycotts televised globally. It showed a young generation demanding dignity. In the 1990s, peace seemed within reach. The Oslo Accords of 1993 and 1995 created the Palestinian Authority and laid the groundwork for a two-state solution. But hopes were dashed by political assassinations, terrorist attacks, broken promises, and the relentless expansion of Israeli settlements. The Second Intifada from 2000 to 2005 brought more bloodshed and hardened positions. By 2007, Palestinian politics split Hamas, took control of Gaza, while the Fatah-led Palestinian Authority held the West Bank. Meanwhile, a life for ordinary Palestinians became increasingly unbearable. Walls and checkpoints restricted movement, Gaza came under a suffocating blockade, and the economy collapsed. Yet amidst all this, the Palestinian identity only grew stronger. Their culture thrived in poetry, art, music, and resistance. Symbols like the keffiyeh scarf, the key to the family home, and the olive tree became icons of defiance. International support began to shift. Movements like BDS gained traction worldwide. In the UN, more nations began recognizing Palestine as a state in principle, though not in practice. As of 2025, over 140 countries have acknowledged the state of Palestine diplomatically. But its full independence remains elusive. Meanwhile, Israel's far-right politics, expanding settlements, and recent military escalations continue to inflame tensions. The Palestinian people remain fragmented. Some live under occupation in the West Bank, others under siege in Gaza, millions in refugee camps, and millions more in the diaspora. And yet, they remain united by a shared memory, a longing for return, and the unwavering belief that they are a nation. Their story is not just one of loss, but of resilience. A people with no state, but with a powerful voice. A people denied borders, but rich in identity. A nation that exists and maps. Maybe not, but in hearts and minds, undeniably. If you found this story important, moving, or eye-opening, make sure to subscribe to the introduction, where ideas begin and the future unfolds.